The new map for the next general election has been published. It proposes that we will have 174 TDs spread across 43 constituencies, but there are wide-ranging implications for the entire country. Philip, what's the main development that we're seeing in this new Boundary Commission report done by the Electoral Commission compared to what we have at the moment?
Yeah, so look, this is the first of its kind. This is the first real proper act of the Electoral Commission that was just established this year. And they have been tasked with reviewing the boundaries for every constituency in the country ahead of the next general election, wherever that may fall. The main point, like you said, is that the country will be going from voting for 160 Dáil seats to 174 Dáil seats. And that'll also include the number of constituencies in the country increasing from 39 to 43. There's wide-ranging changes. The booklet itself says that 82% of constituencies have got changes. There's only 7 constituencies which will remain completely unchanged, and they would be Clare, Cork South West, Donegal, Dublin Central, Kerry, Limerick County and Waterford.
So in terms of winners and losers, you'd have to say the Housing Minister, Darragh O'Brien, could it have gone any better for him?
No, he'll be rubbing his hands together. He has his new Fingal East constituency, which he'll be more than happy with. It's a 3-seater. It's gone from a 4-seater of Dublin Fingal into a 3-seater. So that'll be all his.
Taoiseach Leo Varadkar also won't exactly be displeased by it, will he?
Well, he won't be displeased, but there could be a lot of pressure on him.
Yeah.
The Dublin West constituency, which is not only home to Leo Varadkar, but also the Children's Minister, Roderick O'Gorman, the Sports Minister, Jack Chambers, and there's Sinn Féin TD there as well, Paul Donnelly. So that's gone from a 4 to a 5.
But a Taoiseach traditionally has to bring in a running mate.
Exactly.
No
not that
excuse
they do.
now.
No excuse now, exactly.
But nonetheless, look, we'll look at it and we'll go, it'll probably be Sinn Féin who win that seat, but it does put pressure on Leo Varadkar.
It does. He's never done it. He's never done it for as many times he's ran. He's never brought in anybody. It is something, I think that a lot of party leaders would always feel that if it's a challenge that they haven't really got on top of if they haven't done it.
In Cork South Central. Now, this was a 4-seater. Micheál Martin and Michael McGrath, the Finance Minister, have against all odds held those 2 seats even during the Fianna Fáil collapse. That's now gone up to a 5. Micheál Martin and Michael McGrath stay unified, so they'll be pretty happy as well.
Yeah, that'll be business as usual. You know what the ticket is going to be. It's going to be the 2 guys. You'd expect them both to retain their seats, given not their long standing in the constituency and their current positions in power. Simon Coveney is there. He has brought in a running mate in the past, and Jerry Buttermore.
Deputy leader will have to bring back a
deputy
running
leader.
mate. Yeah.
Will he do it? I
don't know.
It's hard to see. You would expect that it will be actually Donegal O'Leary who brings in a running mate this time for the extra seat.
Speaking of Sinn Féin, so in Donegal, it has remained as a 5-seater, and again, the county boundary is broken. Ballyshannon and Bundoran stay in Sligo, Leitrim. Probably would have been hoping there from a Sinn Féin perspective to go up to 6 seats, 2 3-seaters. Pierce Doherty at one end, Pádraig McLaughlin at the other, both bringing in running mates. It didn't happen.
No, and that's one of the kind of contradictions in the report, in that they say that one of the things, like you suggested, is that they want to maintain these county boundaries so people can vote for their communities and for their areas and for their local authorities. But these communities have been chiselled away, and they're sitting now in Sligo, Leitrim, don't know who their local authority is probably at this point. And and it'll be disappointing news for Donegal, or for Sinn Féin. But you would expect that the 2 TDs you mentioned there, Pádraig McLaughlin and Pierce Doherty, will keep their seats and possibly even bring in a 3rd.
Let's go to this intriguing development in Wicklow and Wexford. So it gets divided in 3, basically, those 2 counties, or a reflection of the growth across the board. So we now have Wicklow as a 4-seater, but we've got 5 TDs already based there.
Yeah, look, that's going to be a difficult one for them. You essentially have 2 constituencies, which were 10. 2 5s of Wexford and Wicklow, which have become 3 constituencies of 11. So, like you say, there's the Wicklow, Wexford, and Wicklow Wexford. So, in the Wicklow, which is more the southern part of Wicklow, obviously, it is kind of stacked with TDs. So, like you've got Simon Harris based up there. You've got Stephen Donnelly.
These guys are all based up in the northern tip of Bray.
North, I meant to say, yes, sorry.
Bray Greystones on the Dart line. You've got Stephen Donnelly, the Health Minister, Simon Harris, the Further Education Minister, John Brady of Sinn Féin, Jennifer Whitmore of Social Democrats, and Stephen Matthews of the Green Party. All five of them up there in that little pocket up the north. Now one of them has to lose.
Yeah, and look, I'd be loath to pick the one at the moment because it'll be quite a fight. But I'd say it could be down to Stephen Donnelly and Stephen Matthews.
Yeah, the battle of Stephens.
Yeah, I think that's where it could go. But it remains to be seen. Look,
a long way to go yet.
Stephen Donnelly's he's got in a prominent position.
Yeah.
He's bringing about his reforms. But it is a tough task.
In terms of people being disenfranchised, you'd look at Sean Sherlock. Himself and his father, the late Joe in Cork East, represented that constituency for the best part of 60 years. Suddenly, Sean Sherlock ends up in Cork City, in Cork North Central. Probably has come off worst out of the whole redraw.
Yeah, that's a tough one, and he did well to battle to keep his seat in the last election. And it is throughout, like the decline of Labour, he's been one that has held on.
Yeah, he's based in Mallow, and it's very much his home turf, fortress, citadel.
Yeah, the name is known.
The name is well known, and now he finds himself in a difficult situation. So probably one of the people who will have tough decisions to take.
It is a tough decision to take, but it is a 5-seater as well in Cork North Central. So you if the work has been done there, if there is councillors and others based in the constituency who could help with
traditional old Labour vote as well on the north side.
Exactly,
north side of Cork. So yeah, it's not.
It's not end of days.
It's not end of days, but it's tricky form. In terms of other people just losing bits and pieces, on the south side of Dublin, we had this situation where either one side or the other of the Dunleary-Rathdown county was going to get a seat. It's gone to Dublin-Rathdown. So Josepha Madigan and Neil Richmond are already there. They hold 2 out of 3. That's gone up to a 4. But Jennifer Carroll McNeil is in Dunleary. She was looking to get a second seat there, but there's been changes there that probably don't suit her.
Yeah, look, it seems as if the Commission has gone out of their way to make posh constituencies even posher. Okay. Yeah, in that Dublin-Rathdown, like you say, which is a 3-seater, also includes Catherine Martin of the Green Party, that they're going to get areas around Fox Rock, which is one of the most affluent areas of the country, and would have suited Jennifer Carroll McNeil and Dunleary to have those votes, but no, they're going into Dublin-Rathdown. Similarly with Dublin Bay South, not huge amounts of changes, remains a 4-seater, hugely hotly contested constituency, but that's going to lose elements of Kimmage, which more the southern end or western end of the constituency, which it's hard to see who that will play into, but it probably isn't the most affluent part of that constituency, but it wouldn't be one of the lower classes either.
You hail from that corner of the city yourself?
Well, I'm more of a Dublin South West man.
Okay. So there's also a development here that probably won't suit small parties, and that is we've had an increase. So we've got 4 extra constituencies, and we've gone up by 4 in terms of the number of 3-seaters. So just explain, why do 3-seaters suit bigger parties?
3-seaters, because there's less transferring, essentially, that you hit your numbers, you get over the line, and it's gone. It's almost more that with the lower constituencies, the smaller parties, they'll get a few transfers here, there, and everywhere, and hopefully that'll push them up over the line. And there is going to be a bit of backlash on that, because there has been an increase in the 5-seaters. There's a few knocking around there now. In Mayo is gone up to 5. Where else? Kildare North, Longford Westmeath,
Kildare North. Yeah.
So look, that'll play into the more established parties' hands.
Cork South Central, Cork North Central.
Yeah, exactly. So like those ones will the smaller parties will be hoping that people get over the line quickly and they get distribution of their results. Is essentially the main point they'll be making, I would think.
All told, what is your overall verdict? You'd have to say they did say stay conservative, probably not the dramatic redraw of the map that we were perhaps it's not an overall blank canvas
No.
draw of the map. It's more tweaking here and there.
Yeah, and you would also suspect that, like I said, while there's 82% of constituencies saw changes, it's all been quite conservative. And given the growing population day by day, with everything, with just general demographics and the increase in migrants coming here, is that they haven't really future-proofed for what future elections will be.
So in fact, come the next election, there'll be dramatic changes again because
Exactly.
the population will have hit a double bounce. So plenty to digest over the coming days, and you can keep posted on all the developments on independent.ie.